Hey guys, Jigidi Jack here, and this is how to Speedy Sparrow fly. After all this fucking time of promising to do this tutorial, I'm finally bringing it to you guys. The reason I was taking so long was, one, I still had a small amount of subscribers, and since people want to learn how to sparrow fly, I wanted to get a bigger audience before I actually did this tutorial, just so more people knew actually how to sparrow fly, well, Speedy Sparrow fly I should say. Secondly, I liked being able to Speedy Sparrow fly to myself, and it was kind of a unique thing between a very small portion of sparrow flies. So that's why I like to keep it to myself. And thirdly, it's actually really easy to learn. I personally learned how to Speedy Sparrow fly just by sparrow flying in general, and then I tried a new technique and I was just like, hey, this is how you Speedy Sparrow fly. What I'm trying to say is this tutorial is kind of pointless, but it isn't pointless at the same time. Because eventually you're going to want to learn on how to Speedy Sparrow fly, and then you're just going to give it a go. And something I've noticed when I go to chill with some of my subscribers is that they already know how to Speedy Sparrow fly. And that's because they can teach themselves on how to Speedy Sparrow fly. That, and they watch how I personally do it. And like I said earlier, Speedy Sparrow fly is really easy to actually master. I'm not saying that this tutorial is pointless, I'm just saying that you don't actually have to watch this tutorial. If you want to learn how to sparrow fly, it's best that you teach yourself on how to sparrow fly. Because I'll be teaching you a specific technique on what I use, and that might not be the technique that you like to use. Some people do Speedy Sparrow flying differently to how I do it, just as a heads up. But this is most likely the easiest way to Speedy Sparrow fly. If you do have a different way of Speedy Sparrow flying though, that is completely fine. You can even use this tutorial as a frame on how to Speedy Sparrow fly. And you can most likely Speedy Sparrow fly a completely different way on how I do it. But that's completely up to you. So if you want to learn a basic way of how to Speedy Sparrow fly, please keep watching the video. So let's actually get right into this video. As with every other tutorial, all you will need is the destabilizer perk for your sparrow. If you don't have the destabilizer perk on your sparrow, you can just go to the kiosk at the tower and just get a sparrow that has the destabilizer perk. If you don't have a fucking sparrow with the destabilizer perk, well then you can't do this tutorial. While I'm on the topic of talking about sparrows, if you don't know how to actually sparrow fly, you will need to watch how to sparrow fly. There's another video on my channel and I'll link it up on the top right hand of the screen right now. But if you don't know how to actually sparrow fly, you should go watch that video before actually learning on how to Speedy Sparrow fly. So I'll be skipping all the actual basics of actually sparrow flying and going straight to the Speedy Sparrow flying part. Now that all the requirements are out the way, now we can actually get into the tutorial. So the best place to actually practice Speedy Sparrow flying would have to be in the moth yards. You fucking don't know where the moth yards is, it's just on Patrol Earth, and just legit, as soon as you spawn, you just go to the left and then go into that loading zone, and then you're at the moth yards. After you're in the moth yards, you just want to head to the very top of that cliff up there. Once you're at the very top of the cliff, we can now start your actual tutorial. So to Speedy Sparrow fly, you need to combine two different sparrow flies into the Speedy Sparrow fly. And so we're going to start off with the easy one, and that's pretty much sparrow flying sideways. What you want to do is move off this cliff and then start sparrow flying sideways. So you want to be facing sideways, so do what you normally do as you're sparrow flying. But every time you press the boost button, you want to press the boost button more on an angle. The lower the angle you press the boost button, the more speed you will get. But there is a downfall to Speedy Sparrow flying. The lower the angle means the more speed, which is a good thing, right? But the more speed you get, the more distance you're going to fall down. So you need to be able to perfectly time it, so that you're still getting enough air to actually stay in the air, and also be able to get enough speed for you to actually be able to do the Speedy Sparrow fly. So again, you need to learn on what angle you need to dash at what specific time. Here's a good beginning point on what you should be sparrow flying like at your stage right now. Instead of sparrow flying what you normally do on the 90-degree straight up angle, you want to be facing more on a 75-degree, maybe even 60-degree if you want to fucking push yourself to it. But if you go to 45, that's pushing it for what stage you're at right now. If you want to push it though, that's completely fine. But for now, since you're only beginning how to sparrow fly, you want to stay with a basic 60 degrees at the least. So yeah, as you see on the screen right now, I am actually sparrow flying on maybe like about a 70-degree angle. And that's all you need to do just to practice Speedy Sparrow flying. As long as you're not hovering on the spot while Speedy Sparrow flying, it is a good improvement to start with Speedy Sparrow flying. After you get used to sparrow flying on an angle, like what I'm doing right now on the screen, you want to just continue to improve on that angle until you get lower and lower. Until you're comfortable on what angle you can Speedy Sparrow fly at without having to use the actual boost, you are getting some good improvement. After you've given this technique some practice and time, you should be able to Sparrow fly sideways while being able to get some decent speed, like what I'm doing on screen right now. With the technique that I'm doing on screen right now, I'm not even boosting. All I'm doing is using the side dashes. Even though the angle of my Sparrow is below 45 degrees, I've learnt this technique so well that I can actually still recover my Sparrow and then proceed to stabilize it and infinity fly while being able to keep a decent speed. The technique for Speedy Sparrow flying I use is similar to this technique, but instead of using a single angle, I use multiple angles and I slowly build my angles up from 0 to 90. What I mean by this is that what I do is when I actually start Sparrow flying, I start with my Sparrow flying being flattened out, and then I slowly build my Sparrow up to 90 degrees. I'll show you what I mean right now. See how my Sparrow is flat? Like, when I mean flat, I mean just like fully stable pretty much. And then as you'll notice, I slowly build my dashes up and then proceed to be able to infinity fly and Speedy Sparrow fly at the same time. This does take a lot of skill, but you'll learn it yourself. Trust me, I learned this and it's really easy to learn. Once you get the idea on how to do this technique, you will eventually learn how to properly infinity fly. Talking about infinity fly, that fucking tutorial was terrible. So if anything, this is the best way to infinity fly. Using side dashes and slowly building your way up to the 90-degree angle. While I'm on the topic of Speedy Sparrow flying, this is a major problem with this Speedy Sparrow flying, is that you're fully blinded to what you do when Speedy Sparrow flying. You can only see on what specific way you're flying. So if you're dashing right, you'll only be able to see what's on your left side. And if you're starting with a left dash, you'll only see what's out to your right. It is really difficult to see what is in front of you. The only way you'll be able to see in front of you is when you go to stabilize, and then you'll be able to have a quick peek on where you're going. But that is the only time you'll be able to properly see in front of you. So after you've mastered just doing the side dashes without doing any boosting, now we want to move on to the actual boost part of the Sparrow flying. So what you want to do with this part is you want to boost and then let go of the boost and then just do your normal 5 dashes. That's all you need to do for this basic part. So boost and then do your 5 dashes and then let yourself fall. That is all you need to do. So this is just a really basic step of what you'll be needing to do. After you've done that though, what you want to do is you want to turn your Sparrow to the left if you're doing right dash first, or to the right if you're doing a left start first. I'm doing a right start first, so I'll be turning left. I'll try to show a tutorial on how to do the left dash first as well though. So what you want to do is you want to boost, let go of the boost, turn left, and then do a right dash. That is all you need to do. So boost, turn left, then do a right dash. Just do the single dash for now, but once you've mastered how to do the boost, turn, then dash, then you can start doing the 5 dashes. Now what you want to do is combine what I've done before and said in this video and combine it into a single Sparrow fly. So this is how it should look like. So what I'm doing right now is boosting, turning left, doing my right dash, and then continuing to do my 5 dashes. And since I'm getting enough height, I can continue doing my Sparrow fly, since I'm able to regenerate my boost. To do a left dash though, you just got to do the complete opposite of what you do with the right side. So instead of turning left, you want to turn right, and then you want to do a left dash, and then right left, as what you would normally do with Sparrow flying. Now here's something you might be wondering right now. Why do you need to let go of the boost? Wouldn't you go further if you hold down the boost? Yes and no. Yes, because if you hold it down, you will actually gain a bit more distance. But if you keep holding it down, you will not be able to regenerate your dashes. If you let go of the boost as soon as you leave the ground from that beginning platform up there, you will be able to regenerate dashes and continue to Speedy Sparrow fly, and even get even faster than the normal Speedy Sparrow fly. So that's why you don't want to hold down the boost, because you won't be able to recharge your dashes. So once you've learnt on how to combine both these techniques together, this is what your sparrow flying should look like. This is Speedy Sparrow flying. Honestly, it's nothing fucking serious. Like, all you're doing is turning your sparrow sideways. That's it. And putting a bit of boost into it. That is legit all Speedy Sparrow flying is. Again, sorry for delaying this video for such a long time. I had my points at the very beginning of this video, so I hope you guys understand. Even voice cracks, holy shit. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like and subscribe for more content. I will try bring out more tutorials in the future, so depending on how this one goes, yeah, more tutorials. Woohoo, excitement. Again, thank you all for watching.